everyone and welcome to another Marvel Crisis Protocol Battle Report. Here's Thor's cameo. He doesn't care. And we're going to be playing a little bit of a smaller matchup today, 4 miniatures on each side, 15 threat. On the same table as last time, however, using the different edges, so the left and right as you see it currently rather than the top and bottom. Let's go over the two teams and then we'll get into the fine details for I was going to call them the Crisis Protocols, but you know what I mean, the objectives. Also though, just a reminder, please do remember to stay safe out there and all that good stuff. So we've got the Asgardians here and also the Winter Soldier, but I guess he technically counts for the affiliation. So we have Thor, we have Loki, the Winter Soldier as stated, Valkyrie is keeping her distance because he smells, and then as tactic cards go, Sibling Rivalry, Doomed Prophecy, Odin's Blessing, Follow Me, and Tactical Analysis. 15 threat right there. So we don't actually have an affiliation at play here because Doc Ock and Ultron I think don't count, or Doc Ock and Venom don't count as anything. Like Doc Ock doesn't have, he'll probably have a Sinister Six affiliation sooner or later. But either way, for brevity's sake, might just refer to them as Cabal sometimes because Red Skull is here, or just the villains. Either way, the squad is Venom, Ultron, Red Skull, and Doc Ock. Tactics cards: the Age of Ultron, Lethal Protector, Patch Up, Field Dressing, and Recalibration Matrix. So the two 15 threat missions were chosen for the Secure and Extraction. Just so happened that's the way it worked out randomly. So we have Gamma Wave Sweep across Midwest, which we know we've seen a few times now, which is the 3 shelters you have to stay within. You get more points for holding the shelters furthest away from your deployment zone. Then we also have Mystic Wakandan Herbs, Fact or Fiction, which we've only done the once I think, which is the Capture the Flag objective. Now the interesting thing is, although they're both 15 threats, so it's a smaller game, they're very diametrically opposed in terms of what you're supposed to do, because the Gamma Wave one wants you to hunker down in the bunkers for safety and points. The Wakanda Herb one wants you to run, grab something and run back. So it's going to be a toss-up between whether or not you want to stay safe, or you want to go for a run in the herb, which does power you up if you're holding it, makes you immune to slow, stagger, makes you do physical attacks better. But if you're outside the Gamma Shower, you're going to be taking damage. And whoever starts on the left, haven't rolled for it yet, that's their place they have to get the herb to. That's their flag, if you like, there for the enemy to capture. There's the other flag that they want to capture, and there's the other bit to store their herb if it gets stolen. So both sides are now deployed, and it will be the Guardians going first. They have deployed up. As you can see them, Valkyrie down here, then the rest of them up there, right up to the, or on the 3 range line. And remember, this is their Wakandan Herb and their base, whatever. What is it even called on the objective? Their herb container, perhaps? Vessel. Their vessel. So that's their vessel that they want to defend. Well, sorry, they want to take the other herb to. This is their herb that they want to defend. And then the other side, we've got Venom here, Red Skull, Ultron, and standing on top of a car brazenly, Doc Ock. And then this is their vessel and their herb that they want to defend / their flag that they don't want this Guardians to grab. Shelter, shower, and shelter. And you get more points for capturing the ones further away. So without further ado, let's get started with Battle Round 1. So there was a very aggressive play from Thor to get the game started. First of all, he and Loki both spent 1 power for Sibling Rivalry, otherwise known as Get Help, where he chucks Loki medium. It does other stuff only if he actually hits stuff. That was just to give Loki some medium move to put him in a good position for the middle. Then Thor moved medium twice, got within 1 of the enemy herb and spent his 1 other remaining power, because his Guardians generate 2, to pick up the herb, so he's now holding it. So his physical attacks get +1 attack die, I think. He's immune to slow and stagger, but he's only allowed to do 1 move action per turn now. It does also kind of put him in the firing line of the entire enemy team, but yeah, he's playing aggressively. So the first activation for the villain side was Doc Ock. He moved medium, and because of Wall Crawler, he doesn't need to have any penalty for climbing a building. So he moved up there, then he did his arm attack, his physical 1 on Thor. He's just within 3. All said and done, even though Flurry of Arms did proc once, just 1 damage to Thor, so that was it. I don't think he's within 2, even if you ignore the height difference of any of the shelters. That'll matter at the end of the turn, but possibly he's going to take damage, we'll see. The God of Mischief was the next activate, although he had a fairly bland turn. In order to get into position to perhaps be annoying, thanks to his range 4 debuff for enemies, Loki moved medium, and then because he's scaling a building that's bigger than range 2, it gets reduced down to small, but it doesn't matter, or 2, whichever it is. Either way, he's just on the edge of the building there, and that's important because you don't take the height consideration into effect. So he is claiming that middle shelter and is definitely also safe, but that does put him in a precarious position to get attacked, but it's probably worth it for his big range 4 debuff. Next activation was the Red Skull himself. First of all, he tapped the Cosmic Cube for 3 power. He did not injure himself in doing so when rolling the 5 dice and looking for skulls. He then immediately spent that 3 power on moving Ultron forwards too, just to give him more room to play with, or to play with the God of Annoyance. He was out of range 4 when he started the turn incidentally, so there was no extra power cost for that. Then as his other action, because tapping the cube counts as an action, he just moved next to his base shelter, so currently he and Ultron are carrying it, holding it rather, but that'll probably change once Ultron gets around to his turn. For now though, it's either over to the Winter Soldier or Valkyrie. So Bucky the Winter Soldier activated next. He did a medium move first. He is within 1 of the Gamma Shelter, and then he shot his assault rifle at Doc Ock. Did no damage, but did inflict bleed thanks to the wild rolled on the attack. Also again, this is just one of the weird things about elevation not mattering in Crisis Protocol. Measure diagonally, that's not range 5. Measure flat on the ground, that is just range 5, barely. That's why he's where he's standing. And if you look at that angle, he can see him. So that's why that shot is possible. So now it's over to either Ultron or Venom. So Ultron activated next because the Asgardians have to use Valkyrie next, obviously, because she's all that's left. And that means Venom can probably sweep in and grab the other herb without her actually attacking. So anyway, Ultron, he was there, he can fly, so he just popped up, medium move. That is within 1, so he is now contesting the middle shelter, so that means nobody's claiming it because he and Loki are both healthy. Then he just did a basic strike on Loki, but did not get through his physical defense, so no damage. So knowing that she's not going to most likely stop Venom or damage him when he goes and grabs the herb, Valkyrie instead did just a double move for her turn, medium, medium, which puts her in the middle shelter very, very comfortably, and also gives the Asgardians majority because Loki is there as well. With that, it's over to Venom to end the turn for the villains, and then that's it for Battle Round 1. So despite being on a larger base, Venom is movement small, so even with the size of his base, he was not able to get close enough to interact at the cost of 1 power with the herb. So yes, he's right there, he's going to grab it next turn, can't stop him, but he isn't able to grab it this turn, and that is very significant. So with that, we are ready to tally up the points gained in round 1. So as we get ready to move into round 2, those not in the safety of a Gamma Shelter take 1 damage, and that is Venom, Doc Ock and Thor. The Asgardians hold their own shelter and the middle shelter because Valkyrie and Loki have majority over Ultron, so that's 3 victory points. The villains only hold their home shelter for 1 victory point. Thor does hold the Wakandan herb, however he has to be within cleanup or claiming distance of his home base over here, otherwise you don't score anything, although if he gets there, he scores 4. So it is worth doing, but now he can only move 1 as well, so it's going to be pretty difficult. With that, we are going into round 2 with the Asgardians still going first. So perhaps as expected, to get Battle Round 2 started, Thor activated first. He decided to chuck his hammer as his first action at Doc Ock, and remember he's getting 1 bonus dice because it's a physical attack and he's holding the strengthening Wakanda herbs. He rolled like 5 damage on his attack. Doc Ock rolled 4 defense. He did really, really well with a bunch of crits. So all said and done, he took 1 damage, but it also does shock, which takes away a die from attacks if I remember correctly. Then he just did a movement action to where you can see him. He is actually in safety distance of the middle shelter there, because safety distance is 2 but claiming distance is 1. So he's not helping claim it, but he is safe from the gamma waves this turn. He is in the middle of the map though, and is open to attack from a lot of people. Doc Ock activated and gave chase to Thor. He moved and he is now within 1 of the middle shelter. It's getting very busy and complicated over there. He did not shake any of his statuses, so he still had the shock and he still had the bleed, so 1 more damage has been applied to him. He has 3 on him now. He did his arm lasers though on Thor, and it was going to do 4 damage, so Thor spent 3 power on Odin's Blessing, which you've seen before because it's really, really good. Spend 3, the amount of damage taken is reduced to 1 damage. So Thor took 1 damage from that. I think that puts him at 3 damage in total. 3, yeah, I think he's on 3 now. And with that, back over to the Asgardians. So how many status effects can one man have without going down? I think Doc Ock is slowly discovering how much that is going to be. It's purely scientific, you understand. But Loki activated, he stayed where he was and just did 2 Frost Blasts, one of which was empowered by I am a God, which lets blanks count as successes. for attacks or defense. But both rolls were pretty bad, so he only did 1 damage. Doc Ock is 1 away from being dazed, but he does get the slow effect. So he's currently slowed, shocked and bled. It happens. Ultron was the next to activate, and he had a very busy and very effective turn. So from where he stood, he just stood still and did 2 attacks. He did an energy blast on Thor, rolled a ridiculous number of crits. Thor did not do well in his defense. He took 5 damage, he only needed to take 3. So he was dazed, and the Wakandan herb has been placed as far back as possible. Then, because he had nothing else to do, he just did a strike on Loki, also did pretty well, and managed to do 2 damage to Loki as well. So he stayed where he is, he's still contesting that middle. Thor dropped the herb obviously, which is annoying because now someone's going to have to go grab it. But we'll see what happens. The Winter Soldier was the next to activate, and he really needed to come through in the clutch, and he did not. He stayed where he was and shot his assault rifle twice. The plan was to take out Doc Ock, because of then like who has majority over the middle. He failed. Doc Ock rolled very well for his defense rolls, so Bucky did nothing. He's still holding the back objective, but that's not good enough. Venom activated, and he probably had a very predictable turn. He moved next to the Wakandan herb, and then he picked it up for 1 power, and there's nothing else for him to do with his other action, because he's not allowed to do another move in the same activation if he has the herb on his person, which he does. He's also not safe within any of the shelters, so he's going to take 1 more damage, but he does have wall crawler, so he can just keep on leaping and leaping and leaping to maybe get back safer than Thor managed to do. So now it's over to Valkyrie to end the turn for the Asgardians. So Valkyrie had a lot to do, and she achieved it. She spent 2 on Asgardian Might, or whatever it is called for her, where she gets to throw a size 2 or less person small. She chucked Doc Ock into the car to do the 1 damage required to daze him, so he is dazed. Then, for her other action, she did a move so she was within 1 of the herb, and has spent 1 power to pick it up. She is within 2, so she's safe in terms of being safe from the gamma waves in the shelter. However, it's only Loki and Ultron who are within capping distance, so it's contested again. Also, it would be Red Skull's turn next. He is simply holding that for points. So that takes us to the scoring phase for Battle Round 2. So at the end of Battle Round 2, Venom is not safe, so he has taken 1 damage for not being in a Gamma Wave shelter. In terms of points gained, the Asgardians hold their home base, as do the villains, for 1 victory point apiece. The middle one, as just previously stated, is contested between Loki and Ultron for capturing. So only 1 point gained for each team, putting the Asgardians on 4 and the villains on 2. Valkyrie and Venom both hold the respective herbs, but obviously neither of them are within distance of the vessel. And Thor and Doc Ock will be flipping their cards over as we go into Battle Round 3, with the Asgardians still going first. It's a bit of an awkward angle, but Valkyrie got the turn started because she wants to get out there with the herb. First of all, though, she did a Dragon Fang attack, which was going to do 6 damage against 2 defense, because remember, she's getting an extra physical dice thanks to having the herb on Doc Ock. Doc Ock paid 3 power to do Recalibration Matrix, which, if you don't like the result of when you're at the modify, not at the modify, sorry, at the calculate success for either an attack or a defense, you pay 3 and you all have to re-roll again. It's a do-over. So forced a do-over, and 6 damage turned into just 2 damage, but she did get a wild, so she did a follow-up free strike attack for another 2 damage, so Doc Ock has 2 HP left. She then did a medium move, but didn't go the full distance because she wants to be within capture distance of the middle shelter. So perhaps knowing that he is not long for this world, Doc Ock was the first to activate for the villains. He moved in to the Gamma Shelter, not that it's probably going to matter. Then he spent 3 for arm lasers on Valkyrie, did a massive 4 damage. Then he used Doc's clutches to throw someone within 3 small. He basically just picked Valkyrie up and smacked her into the wall directly to the side of her for an additional 1 damage. That's all he could do. So that is for 5 damage on Valkyrie. She has 6 HP, I think. Yes. So she's 1 away, and Ultron hasn't gone yet, obviously, so that's going to be a problem. So Thor activated next, and he really showed why you shouldn't make the God of Thunder angry. His first action was a 4 Asgard, which is a move and then a free strike, which he did on Doc Ock. Did 2 damage, so poor old Doc is dead and gone. Then he did a Strongest Avenger, or whatever it's called. What is it called? Strongest Avenger. To pick Ultron up, throw him in the car. It's mostly to get him a bit further away from Valkyrie. He took 1 damage from the impact of the car. Then, because he's only actually done 1 action, because Strongest Avenger is a superpower, he chucked his hammer at Venom, did really well, did 3 damage, and obviously also does the free stun to him as well. Back over to the villains. So rather than immediately go to Ultron, it was actually Venom who activated next, I guess because he is actually getting kind of close to being dazed thanks to the damage he's been taken from not being in gamma shelters. So he moved small twice to the safety and securing of the back gamma shelter they own. Didn't shake the shock. Then patch up was played. Red Skull footed the bill. So you play between 1 and 5 power, you heal that much on an allied person within 2. Red Skull spent 3 power and healed Venom for 3, so he's back to just 2 damage on him. Now it's over to either Loki or Winter Soldier. Bucky was next to activate. He stayed where he was and did 2 assault rifle shots into Ultron. Did a little bit better than the last time he attempted this. Well, on the second one. The first one whiffed entirely. The second one did much better with 3 damage. Plus the 1 damage on Ultron, he has 2 HP left on his healthy side. Would have procced the bleed, but Ultron is immune to bleed. So with that, it's either over to Ultron or Red Skull. Ultron activated, he moved up, so he's in the gamma shelter. He did Metallic Fury for 3 on poor Valkyrie. It did 2 damage, which was enough to stun her, so the herb has been dropped there. It would have bled her, but it doesn't matter because she's dazed and will be flipping over, so the bleed goes away anyway. And now it is over to Loki to end the turn for the Asgardians. So Loki activated, and rather than go for the herb, he stayed where he was because he had to take down Ultron. So he did an Illusions, which is a 6 Mystic attack. He also did I Am a God for 2 power to make blanks count successes. He did 2 damage to Ultron, which was enough to daze him, but he did not do anything else because he wants to stay there holding the center, and he doesn't want to be the one holding the herb because staying where he is causes problems with the superpowers for everybody else. So now it's over to Red Skull. And that'll be it for the end of Battle Round 3. Don't know if he's going to do anything, back in a second. So originally Red Skull was going to climb onto the building and send a cosmic blast at Loki, but he spent all his power on patch up. So what he did was tap the cube, did not damage himself again, then immediately spent that to move Venom 2. He is still within 2, so he's still going to get safety from the shelter. He's not capturing it, but it doesn't matter because Red Skull is. So he's a little bit closer to his destination over there. And that does take us to the end of Battle Round 3. So as we get ready to go into Battle Round 4 with the Asgardians still going first, Ultron is flipping his card, Valkyrie is flipping her card, the home shelter of the Asgardians and the middle one are claimed for 3 victory points, the villains have their own for 1, so that puts it currently at 7 playing 3 in favour of the Asgardians, but if Venom gets back to base with that herb and the Asgardians don't, that one swing alone will make them even points wise. So with that, let's jump in and see who's going first. So to get Battle Round 4 started, Thor was the first to activate, and he spent a power to pick up the herbs next to him. They were within 1 of him. The idea of where they were placed is so Loki couldn't get to them easily on the last turn there. Then he spent 1 power on a hammer throw to smack Ultron with +1 dice because he had the herb. Didn't do any damage, but did do the shock. Shock. It is shock. Then he just moved his 1 movement allowance for holding the herb. He is not within 2, so he is not currently scoring that flag, but he will next turn unless he's stopped. Now it's over to the villain's first activation. So much like in the cinematic universe, Ultron had one clearly defined goal this turn, which was to pick on Thor for no apparent reason. Well, I guess there's an apparent reason here. So he stayed where he was, and first of all he did Kinetic Field Generator to chuck a car at Thor. It smacked him for 2 damage. Then he did Energy Blast, but he also used Analyze and Annihilate, so if any crits are rolled in the defense roll, he also gets an additional die. It did 2 damage, then he just fired a normal blast for 1 damage. Also he paid +1 more power for each of those, the throwing the car and Analyze and Annihilate because of Loki being right there. Thor took 5 damage, he has 8 health on his wounded side, so he's still kicking, but it's getting a bit dicey. So Valkyrie activated, and she had a bit of an interesting turn. She did Warrior of Legend Dragon Fang on Ultron, did not do well at all, only did 2 damage to him, which was not great. So then she moved, and presumably this is allowed, she paid the power cost required for Tactical Analysis. Unaffiliated, the active character may spend 2 power to play this card, which she did. Choose another allied character within range 3 of that character, this chosen character may advance small. She chose to move Thor into range of the vessel. Now presumably that's not a move action, it's a team tactics advance, so presumably that's okay, and it doesn't break the rule about someone holding a herb only doing 1 move action. How is it worded? Character holding the herb cannot perform more than 1 move action per turn. Does that mean that a tactics card, because it doesn't say move action, it says it's in advance. It might not be allowed, because it does say per turn, not per activation, so that might be specifically worded so that you can't use tactics cards in that manner. Not sure, we're going to play that it's okay. It might not be, just keep that in mind, it might not be. I don't know if it's been errated or clarified in the FAQ, haven't checked. But we're going to play on as is, with it played. Valkyrie's going to take damage now for not being in the shelter, and it's over to Venom or Red Skull. Red Skull did a repeat of his last turn's activation. He tapped the cube for 3 power, then immediately spent it. However, he did roll a skull this time, so he's taken 1 damage. He spent it to move Venom 2, to make sure that he can make it to the vessel with 1 small move, which he's definitely gonna. So now it's over to either the Winter Soldier or Loki. So 2 quick activations to cover. The Winter Soldier activated, took 2 pot shots with the Assault Rifle Ultron, did absolutely nothing with either of them. Venom simply moves small to make sure he's in range of the vessel to score, and then also just used his other action to shake the shock that he's been holding on to for quite some time. So now it's over to Loki to end off the battle round. That does mean in turn 5 the villains would be going first. If Loki's just going to have to stay guarding that. Because Ultron's on his wounded side and Loki is still healthy, so yeah, and I don't think he can reach. If he can reach Venom, we'll do that. If not, we'll go straight to cleanup. So no, obviously Loki could not reach Venom, however, totally forgetting, obviously attacking Ultron is an option. So he did 2 energy blasts, is that what they're called? Frost blast, sorry, his beam. On Ultron, 1 got through for 3 damage, which was enough. It needed to do 2, so Ultron has been killed and he does not have enough power to play Age of Ultron because he spent it all on trying to take out Thor. So with Ultron being gone, we're at the scoring and we'll see if there's any point in playing on. So at the end of Battle Round 4, the Asgardians hold their own base and the middle shelter as well for 3 victory points in total. The villains have their own for 1, so that's a difference of 2 there. Venom obviously made it with his herb to the vessel for 4 victory points, and Thor has also made it for 4 victory points. So that means that with 2 turns left of the game, the Asgardians only need to score 2 victory points to win, because they'll hit the points way before the villains do, so it's pretty much a given. Now, if Thor did an illegal thing there via the tactics card movement, the swing would obviously be not as big. They'd be 4 behind than they currently are, which would put them at 10 playing 8. However, Thor would make it in turn 5, obviously, because he was standing there and no one can reach him. So the swing of 4 would still apply to the next turn. They're going to hold at least one of those. If they hold the middle one, which Valkyrie can help do, it would definitely score as well. Basically meaning there's no way to stop the Asgardians winning, and so we're going to call the match there. So that is another battle report in the books. I hope you enjoyed watching. It was closer than I thought it would be. A lot of blood shed. For the Gamma shelters, there's always a big brawl in the middle, and that's always quite fun to see. Even if the buildings and such made it a little complicated thanks to the lack of elevation rules. But, you know, that's the game. So thank you very much for watching. Please do check out the other content, and remember to subscribe if you want to see more of this and the other games we cover here in the future. Not sure what'll be up next. Still waiting for those Guardians of the Galaxy. Who knows how long they'll be. Please do remember to stay safe out there and stay indoors as well until all this is over. Go check out the backlog of videos if you haven't already. That'll pass some of the time, and I did do a video suggesting a bunch of video games and books and movies themed around superheroes that are worth reading because it'll take you a while to get through. Thank you very much for watching this though, and see you in the future. Ta-ta for now.